Hans Niemann reached number 12 in the world by defeating a young prodigy, Awonder Liang, in a match with +3 score, gaining almost 14 ratings and reaching 2741 in top chess players in the world, number 12. But he's still 100 points away from Magnus Carlsen with 2840. And Hans, in one of his recent interviews, mentioned that Magnus is afraid to play in very top level classical events because he's afraid to lose rating. Like what happened to Hikaru and Caruana in candidates might also happen to Magnus Carlsen. But also, there were some comments that somehow annoyed Hans Niemann. He also tweeted that I find the "why did you farm someone random" comments very funny when only a month ago Awonder convincingly defeated Hikaru in a classical rapid blitz match. Nonetheless, the tour continues. So some people said that you are farming against a random opponent, but what do you think about this? Do you think this is farming, or Hans is clearly playing against a very strong player? Because Awonder played a great tournament in FIDE Grand Swiss 2025, clearly a very strong young prodigy, but probably he's not one of the best in the world right now. Now we are going to look at one of their exciting chess games. Like, this is game 9 of the event. It's 12 game match. These tours are just by Hans Niemann himself. He has some sponsors, and the games are also on Endgame AI. So we are looking at the games on Endgame AI, which launched by Hans Niemann, and he has some sponsors. So let's go and watch this game. Hans started with pawn to e4. This is game 9, e5, knight to f3, bring the pieces out, and the king of the chess openings, Ruy Lopez. We have a6 main lines, bishop retreats to a4, and knight to f6, attacking e4, castle, main line. If you take here, it's open Ruy Lopez, but Awonder Liang plays bishop to e7 and rook to e1, defending this pawn. Now white wants to take on c6 and grab on e5. So b5, bishop to b3, and castle. Here we have c3 main lines, like you probably know about Marshall Gambit, or we have some h3, d3, and also a4. So we have lots of options in this Ruy Lopez system. Pawn to b4, and here a very nice move, pawn to a5, disconnecting these two pawns and trying to play on the queen side. In this line, white is usually trying to play on the queen side and in center. In Ruy Lopez and Spanish opening, white usually goes for like something like d3, knight d2, knight f1, knight g3, bringing all of the pieces to the king side. But here, white is doing something different. d6, pawn to d3 still, and after rook to b8, trying to activate in some position, rook to b5 is trying to attack this pawn. So this pawn is now a weakness. But knight to d2, this knight wants to reach c4 square, because this pawn is here, this square is somehow weak. Bishop to e6, probably knight c4 here with the idea bishop to d2 is main line, but Hans in this game played pawn to h3, pawn to h6, and here clearly once again knight c4 is the main option, but Hans goes for c3, and he tries to open up the lines on the queen side, as I told you. But in this position, black can equalize by bishop takes b3, knight takes b3, take, and d5. I mean, there is still play left. Takes here, takes c4. This d3 pawn is weak, this e5 pawn is weak. White in some position wants to play bishop to a3 or bishop to e3, reaching these dark squares, but the game is somehow equal. In the game, Awonder just took on c3. Once again, bishop takes b3 with the follow-up of d5 is the best, but he plays queen c8, aiming at this h3 pawn or wanting to take here at this moment. But Hans runs away. Bishop c2 is also great, but bishop to a4, attacking this knight. A very nice pawn sacrifice from Hans. He says, please take this because now I'm going to control the center. He sacrificed a pawn for controlling the center. Now he reached this d4, which is the dream scenario in Ruy Lopez. Now the position is very difficult for black. He can take here, of course, but after c takes d4, white has the ideal center. And the pawn that black gained is this a6 pawn, the worst pawn in the world. At any moment, white can attack it, like with bishop c2, attacking the knight, attacking the pawn on a6. So white can regain this pawn very easily. So this is a very weak pawn. So we cannot say basically in this position that black is a pawn up. And the position is very difficult for black. He needs to go d5, but once again, bishop c2, attacking this a5, and then pushing with e5. It's a very hard position for black. So this is why in this position, Awonder Liang played knight to b7, deciding to get to sack the pawn back, because after d takes e5, he wants knight d7, And he has some very nice positional ideas in mind. He is arguing that now I'm bringing the knight to c5 attack, or this knight to c5, but especially this knight to c5, and I have a good play. Like, what are you going to do about it? If you're going to take on d6, I will just take back, the queen is activated, and everything is fine. But in this position, Hans finds a very nice idea. He plays knight to d4, a brilliant idea. Reaching this c6 square is so painful for black. Like, the best move in this position is to play rook a8, and after knight c6 play rook e8. I mean, this is just like black is dead in this position. White is just coming with f5, and there is nothing that you can do about it. Not so much. So black is in trouble already. In move 18 is in trouble. So he takes on e5, but f4. Hans goes for the initiative, and now this knight has to move. Knight to d3, attacking the rook, attacking the bishop, but knight to c6. This is a much stronger threat, because knight takes e7 is with check, winning the queen. So you need to defend here. The bishop almost has nowhere to go. If you go to here, once again e5, and this e7 square is also a weakness. So this bishop has nowhere to run away. In this position, Awonder plays rook to e8, but now knight takes b7, attacking the rook, taking back, and taking the other rook. So if you take here, I also have bishop takes f7 intermezzo. Black takes back, but now white won two exchange. He's two exchange up. He has two rooks against bishop and a knight, or bishop and this knight, let's say. And this has happened because he sacrificed that pawn on a5, and then he went for this play, this controlling the center, and now black is in big trouble. I mean, he tries to go queen c6 and finding some counterplay, but Hans goes queen a4. He just activates his pieces. He doesn't care about that pawn. And after that, f5, go away from this square. And after bishop c8, bishop has nowhere to go. The only square is c8. But he's saying, okay, if you play queen e8 check, I will run. Then if you take here, I will take here. This is hanging, maybe some chances. But Hans says, you know what, I'm not interested. Queen e8 is winning, but he's playing professionally, playing knight f3. Doesn't want to go into complications. He just wants to develop the bishop now. Queen e8 always here. Queen a6 always here. The position is, black is desperate. I mean, d5 by engine still is saying it's you can probably continue a little bit more. But Awonder resigned in move 26 in this game, and Hans managed to win this game. I mean, this was a classic game by him. Like, I really like the way he played the Ruy Lopez. He is playing it in a very positional way. Like, if you just go and watch the game once again, this idea, you can use it in your own games, knight to d2 to reach the knight to c4. But after that, he didn't play the best line here. I mean, bishop takes b3 is somehow black can hold, I mean, after this. But this queen c8, after this, Hans played a great game, like bishop a4. I don't know why this engine on endgame AI says 88%. I guess this game was like more than 90% at least. Bishop to a4, sacrificing this pawn and controlling this center. Black is in a very bad situation. And when he played knight b7, this was the key moment of the game, this knight d4. Black is perhaps near to lost in this position, because after that he just lost two exchange and it's over. He resigned. A very nice game by Hans. Now he's, as I told you, he's number 12 in the world. He's trying to compete in top level events, reaching top 10, and then trying to come and fight for his dreams in chess to become world. I mean, he said first American world champion, but clearly we have Bobby Fischer, but he's trying. What do you think about Hans Niemann and his tours and his games? He's an interesting personality in chess, and at least he brings more drama and more excitement to chess, and we are looking forward to see more from him. Thank you for watching, and remember always to enjoy chess and life.